I'm Dave Clayton. I'm the fearless leader of Pawleys Island Peeps, and today's guest on episode 5 of Meet the Peeps is Donald Dennis.
Hello, everybody.
He's with Friends of the Waccamaw Library, and he's such a great resource in our community. And so I wanted you to know all about him, and so welcome.
Right. I work with the Friends all the time. They help us do our stuff, but I'm really a county employee. All right, so I work for the Georgetown County Library Systems, and we try and do teen programming at all 5 of our branches. And I'm lucky enough that our friends and some other benefactors have allowed us to do some exciting stuff at our branch at the Waccamaw Branch Library.
Such a great resource there. I get a lot of my information from social, as you can imagine. And so I see you've got so many activities coming up. Before I get into that, and I can't wait to share all that, tell us a little bit about you and where you came from.
Where I come from. Originally I'm from Oklahoma, but I've lived sort of all over the country, and I've been here in Georgetown County since 2008. So it's beginning to feel a little bit like home. And I've worked in the video game industry, in the tabletop gaming industry for like role-playing games, card games, that kind of stuff. But I've also done a lot of call service center work before I came here to the library. And I was brought in here as a grant by the Bunnell Foundation to help provide access to libraries and interesting activities for teens and tweens. And so that's been a lot of fun, is sort of being able to teach technology to a wide variety of folks. Because now I also do seniors.
That's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about some of the activities you have there at the library.
Okay. Well, we have several different kinds of activities. For example, our children's services folk, they do like story time for kids. Parents can bring their kids in, sort of help them socialize, the younger children. But I focus on the teens and tweens, so 10 and up really. And we have basically 2 kinds of activities. One is we do a big games convention every spring in March called ShushCon. It's free. People can come in, learn how to play a whole bunch of different games. Gamers from all over the region come in and join us. So we had 200 unique people last time. And in the fall, we do our maker and crafting fair, which is where we sort of bring people in to show off a lot of what we do. But what I do for the kids on a daily basis is we've got a laser cutter in the room, and we've got 3D printers, and we've got mold making equipment. And yeah, we have shown off here. We've got all of our beautiful things that we can carve or make. And over the course of the summer, we do a whole bunch of activities.
So you're training the kids how to do this?
Yes, that's our real goal. Is sometimes we're just working on projects in there and they get to see it.
Yeah.
And then other times they're like, oh, that's interesting. I want to participate. And
Very cool.
Yeah, ShushCon is my pride and joy. As you can see, we can do some pretty big signs on our laser. We can engrave stone, we can do mirrors, aluminum, plastic, all kinds of things that we can do stuff with. We can even do, some tumblers and glasses and whatnot.
Very cool.
And it's never a dull moment. We are constantly trying to learn more ways to push our technology forward a little bit. And it's not unusual for when the kids come in after school, they're like, hey, what are y'all doing today? And we're like, oh, well, today we're running tests on trying to engrave a slate for slate coasters or whatever. And last fall, we had dozens of people come in and basically make their holiday gifts. They'd bring in their glasses or their slate coasters or their pins or bamboo cutting boards or whatever. And we don't charge them for laser time. That's one of the things we don't do. Is as long as we have free laser time, people can schedule to come in and do that.
I love it.
When we get to the point where we're so overbooked, then that's the time where we'll probably have to start either charging or get a second laser. That's what I'm pushing my boss to do, is get more laser, but we just have to get more space for that, which means, finding something to get rid of.
So does it start with the computer, or does it start with measuring? Tell us a little bit about the process.
Well, it depends on which activity, but it always has to start with the idea first. If the kids don't have an idea of what they want to do, it's not going to work. But one of the reasons why I love our laser is that they can bring in a hand-sketched thing, say, I want to burn this into laser, and then 15 minutes later they walk away with it having burnt out of a piece of wood or a piece of scrap wood that we have, which is unlike the 3D printers, which take sometimes hours or days to do a good print, or they're going to fail more often, or that kind of thing. But if anybody wants to stop by and just see what we can do, it's really fast and really easy. And Dylan's my assistant, he couldn't be here today, love talking about how the laser works every Tuesday and Thursday for all ages, for adults, not school-age kids because they should be in school then, but Tuesdays and Thursdays at noon, we teach laser classes. And that's a great time for you to come in and get oriented and see how it works. And then you can come in and work on your stuff whenever we have free computers.
That's interesting. 67% of our community is retired.
Yes.
Or of retirement age, I should say, because a lot of them are still working.
Right.
But, and so you have activities for them, and it sounds like Tuesday, Thursday, it would be ideal for them to come in and help.
Well, and that's when they can come in and learn, and then once they learn how to do it, they can reserve other time during the week to come in and actually do what they want to do instead of do what we're teaching them how to do.
Love it.
So they got that freedom. And our friends also offer a lot of great programming. Like they've got movies that happen on a regular basis. We've done ukulele lessons. There's a knitting group that meets in the library. The whole thing about the libraries is it's not just a morgue for dead trees, right? It is also that, right? We also have a lot of wonderful books and a lot of wonderful print resources, local newspapers and international papers or what have you. Those are great, but we have a local history section. We've got...
Tell us about that, the local history section.
Okay, well, that's not really part of my domain, but what they do is they try and keep local authors there or books about local information.
Interesting, yeah.
That's there. And we also have our digital library. I'd be remiss not to mention that. The Georgetown County Library Digital Library is a resource of pictures that are taken here locally or by locals from the past 100 years or so. And it's amazing. And some of it is digitized art or maps from back in the 1800s, right? It's old. It gets old from the founding of South Carolina.
So interesting. So one thing that really jumps out at me in that library is the game room.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids, it seems like they walk there from the middle school or from the intermediate school, sometimes after school, and they're almost running to the library.
That has happened from time to time, yes.
Is that, I mean, what's the purpose of having a game room like that?
Well, when I was brought in, when the Bunnell Foundation brought me in, they wanted to see if they provided specific activities at the library and grades were kept up high enough to participate in them, if it would keep people in school, right? And so that was an excellent grant that went for 3 years. And there was during that period, we could say, hey, look, people staying in school was higher, but you don't know if it's correlation or not. So what we did is we decided that, hey, we're not going to tie it to grades anymore, but we're going to offer this place of self-guided learning and of people coming in and being a community, because really the game room is more a community than it is a learning lab, even though it's also a learning lab.
That's great, man. Yeah. That's really great. And your background, you mentioned you were into gaming and stuff with coding and all that. Do you do any teaching of that at all in what you're doing, or is
that goes through? So what we teach goes through cycles.
Okay.
All right. So 2 years ago, we had a lot of coding, introduction to coding stuff. Now our kids are a little bit older who are coming in, and the ones coming in for the classes aren't as much in the 10 to 13 age. They're more in the 13 to 16 age. So we're not doing any coding this summer. But I imagine that next summer, as the kids who are coming in, as the young patrons who are coming in, get their own cars and don't show up at the library as much, the new batch will get a little more involved, and we'll start doing some more coding stuff again.
That's great. I noticed outside of the library is beautiful. Now, what happened there?
Oh, well, the Friends organization and the Herb Society takes care of the garden, and the Friends helped put a whole landscape thing in the back as well. Yeah. And so, they want a library that they can be proud to point people to, not just that they can say, hey, look, we do some amazing stuff. And I mean, I can't speak the praises highly enough about the Friends organization. They paid for all of our electronics in the room until we got grants to buy the lasers and the 3D printers. And so a lot of what we do is sponsored by them and not sponsored just by the county. So it's not all taxpayer money that's going to pay for this, and a lot of it is not at all.
Sure. That is great. What's your favorite, if you had to pick your favorite part of what you're doing on a daily basis there, what would you say is your favorite part of it?
Ooh, well, I like doing new things, exploring new things. So For example, this summer, I haven't done a lot of bookbinding, but we decided, hey, we're doing bookbinding this summer and teaching kids how to bind books, which means I now have to learn how to bind books. And so the fact that my boss gives me the opportunity to find new things that are of interest to our patrons, and it doesn't have to be something that the library's done for 100 years, that we can try new stuff. And sure, if it doesn't work out one year, maybe we'll see if we can rework it, or we'll just pivot and go in a different direction. And we have that kind of freedom because the community is so supportive about what we're doing. And, you know, I think probably the community is really the best thing, is that the folks who come in and talk to us, who need our help and are nice about it, or who have questions or ideas for us of other stuff that we can offer. I think that's sort of the most fun, is just interacting with the community and sort of being a part of it as it grows.
I love it. So as Friends of the Waccamaw
Yeah, Friends of the Waccamaw Library
is a nonprofit. And with Palmetto Giving Day coming up and everything, what's your greatest need right now?
Well, see, it changes depending on which department you talk about.
Sure.
So my greatest need for where we are is better storage, because we've got a lot of stuff that is sort of sitting out and that we get to use, but it would be better if we had like project carts so we could wheel it out and say, this is what we're teaching today, and then put it away and stuff like that, instead of having to have so many things on active display all the time. So that's what I need for my room,
Sure.
more than anything. The children's department just removed their fish tanks, and they're looking at something to do with those walls there, something to put into that area where the fish tanks were. But I think it really depends. If people bring their own interests to the library, then there's a larger chance that you'll be able to find a home for those interests at the library. So
I love it. That's part of that constantly evolving, constantly growing that you were talking about, your favorite part of it. I thank you so much for being a part of this podcast. Is there any question that I haven't asked that you would want, that you were hoping I would, or maybe hoping I wouldn't, that you would want to?
That I'd hope you wouldn't ask. Oh, let's see. What have I gotten in the most trouble for? No,
I love that.
We're pretty good with that. I guess I try and shoot big. And so a couple of times I've proposed projects not thinking that they would be approved by our boss. Like, I want to get this laser. And he's like, absolutely, let's get this laser. We've got the grant, we can get this and we'll do the thing. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And so I have jumped into projects that I didn't know what they were or how to do them.
Sure.
Which could get you in trouble, but it has turned into sort of a wealth of activity.
I love it.
Sometimes it's the patrons. They love it when I mess up or when I'm learning something, because then they get to learn along with me. And it's not me saying, all right, children, listen to me. It is more like, hey, we're all in this together. It's super exciting.
You are an exciting person. I love the way your mind works.
When it works?
I really do. I mean, just spending a little bit of time with you, you're a fit. You really do figure out a way to get things done, and you really are involving the whole community. And so the last question I have for you, and probably one of the most important questions.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
What is your favorite Jeremiah's Italian Ice flavor?
Ooh, I think mango or mango vanilla together is just as amazing.
I love it. That's actually my favorite. I love the fruity,
right?
And it
the
tastes
tartness, right? And,
tart, and it also just tastes healthy. You know, it tastes like you're actually having fruit.
And you can tell health is a big concern of mine. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Donald, for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Such an asset. And the Waccamaw Library is such an amazing resource for our community, and we're grateful for you. We want to do whatever we can. Let's get the word out. Let's help support Waccamaw Library, the Friends of the Waccamaw Library.
That's right.
Palmetto Giving Day. Let's do it.
Yep, it's the Friends of the Waccamaw Neck Branch Library. It goes by FOWL on Facebook, I think. And of course, if you do have a teenager who wants to do some activities this summer, we're about to start sign up for all of our summer activities in the teen room, and those are free. So you come, you sign up, and then they just to make sure you've got a seat, and then you can come and join us. And if you say, well, can adults come and do this stuff too? Not during the summer so much, unless you want to volunteer to help us out. And then you can come in and be a helper to help us keep track of the kids, but you also get to learn at the same time. But you have to have a kid in the class really to make that happen. So there you go.
I love it. Let's go have some Italian ice.
Ooh.
Donald, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you for yours.
Yes, sir. This has been a lot of fun, and it's been great to learn about this incredible asset in our community.
See ya, peeps. When I'm looking for a cool treat in Pawleys Island, I come to Jeremiah's for their mango and vanilla, their gelato, and their Italian ice. It is delicious.